Hello,
And welcome.
it's the Graveyard Girls. Or, for this episode, Big Tit, Little Tit.
Yeah, big tit, little tit. So we're going to approach this episode a little bit differently to how we've done our other ones. It's kind of stuff that's going on, and a lot of it is kind of related to true crime and maybe some mysteries and conspiracy theory sort of things that are going on. But rather than us like picking a particular, some of them will sort of have a subject, but rather than us looking at something, researching it and writing it up, this is kind of unscripted.
We're kind of just having a discussion of things we've both looked into, or basically what's on social media.
Yeah, that we're sort of noticing. Mainly because we sort of came back, like we had the idea for a little while before, but we sort of didn't really know when to start it. And then after I did my megaliths episode, so if you haven't checked that out, go check that out. I noticed a lot, obviously because it was part of a Netflix documentary, I noticed a lot of stuff cropping up on TikTok afterwards, where people are sort of carrying it on. And it was a massive mix between people sharing stuff directly from the documentary and following on from it, and then other actual like archaeologists and historians that use TikTok as a platform were sort of trying to disprove everything we were saying, like why this isn't this way, and it just sort of really took off within the week that I'd posted our episode, so I kind of thought it was quite relevant to what was going on.
So yeah, we're kind of discussing like conspiracy theories on TikTok.
Yeah.
And like the impact that has on the rest of the world or society.
Because there's so much misinformation out there. Like it's hard because like when we did this documentary, obviously, I'm more than aware that he was a bit of a controversial figure, which we obviously mentioned in the episode.
Yeah.
And that none of his stuff, he was known as a pseudo-scientist and a pseudo-archaeologist and a pseudo-historian, so nothing of what he said was based on actual fact. But he'd obviously Netflix had obviously given him a platform, and obviously there's a lot of Netflix documentaries out there that are a bit controversial anyway, because not that they're not impartial, but they obviously got a theme that they want to go with for the documentary, and I think it can be a case of they don't necessarily do the research themselves, they're just relying on whatever it is that the person presenting, the information that they bring to the table. So obviously with Graham already being a controversial figure, it was already going to be kind of his story rather than what had necessarily happened. And it's hard because, like we discussed in our episode, I think some of the things he said had very valid points, but then as I've seen other things on TikTok, there's lots of things of like people that have come out with stuff like stuff that you wouldn't necessarily know about, you wouldn't have learned it at school, but it is factual stuff that is out there. It's just quite well hidden, like it's quite niche. So I think you have to really look for it. So to the, I suppose, common person, if you like it wouldn't have been knowledge like readily available to us. So a lot of these historians and archaeologists come out and go, well, what he said here can't be true because of this, and then there's other ones that sort of disproving or discounting some of the people that he spoke to. There was another TikTok that I looked at where a guy was saying he was actually used the wrong type of person. I want to say he was doing something to do with geology and he spoke to an archaeologist. So even though there's bits of crossovers, he didn't actually get the right professional in to talk about it.
And I think that's the problem. I think we're very good at getting little bits of information that may be correct, but then you kind of twist it, so then you might not mean to twist it, but your understanding of it may be the wrong way, so then you sharing that creates a conspiracy. Or it's like, well, this happened and this is how I'm presenting it to you, so then someone else is like, okay, this is how it happened, but it's not, you're just hearing it from a different person, and then that's it gets spread so quickly. And like I said, the way he was sort of explaining it does sound really plausible, and there's a part of me, I don't think it's not impossible. We just simply don't have the evidence to support it or even disprove it, and that's where I think that's the sort of thing that could almost do with going ahead, so they could at least disprove it. They've already not disproved aspects of it, but they've explained why what he's already said in that documentary is highly unlikely. So it's a case of you've got to take what he said with a pinch of salt and then go back and do your own research. Was there a like created for entertainment purposes only type of thing. You know, when that pops up and it's like, okay, it might not be real, but this is their interpretation.
And this is it. So it obviously massively took off, and then I got sort of, because you know what it's like on TikTok, when you started searching for those things, the same things keep cropping up. And then there was other ones where people, like, they sort of presented it like it was there, like, I was thinking about this. So they'd actually taken bits from the documentary but presented it as their own theory that they'd come up with. And I remember, like, you know, when you look through the comments, people are like, she just copied and pasted this from the Graham Hancock's documentary on ancient apocalypse. But it's like the way this particular girl had presented it was like, it was a theory that she'd had. She was like, she sort of started off as like, I was just thinking, and then it came with that. Do you know what I mean? And
people can have very similar theories, though.
Yeah. But I think it was, you know, when it was like quite obvious what she was coming out with, and like the things that she picked up on, like the names of the places were all exactly same. And there's a lot of these, the ones that Graham mentioned, it wasn't limited to those. There's a hell of a lot more. Like, she could have mentioned any, and it just so happened to be they were all the same. But she was one that was kind of criticised because she had quite a large following, and she wasn't explicit in the fact that, like, she was presenting it like it could be an actual thing, but someone was saying when you go on her other social media, she was like a historian, comedian sort of thing. So she wasn't actually a professional historian. She was looking at history things and like almost doing a bit of a comedy twist on it.
Oh, okay, yeah,
but the way it was presented was like it was a genuine theory, and then she's backing it up with facts. And the people were saying, but because that wasn't posted on her TikTok, it could be very misleading. So if people maybe seen her hadn't seen her Instagram stuff, they might think she was a genuine person, sort of presenting this as sort of not factual evidence, but like a genuine theory. And I think it's more, she probably was one of those that was jumping on a trend, because like I said, it was within those weeks, like when our episode came out, like that was just more lucky timing with us, when I decided to post that episode rather than it being a planned thing. But
we did ours because ours was recommended, so
and it just, the timing was nice. Obviously, I think the documentary had come out just before Christmas, and it was sent to us over the Christmas period, and then we did it for we recorded about end of Jan. I think it came out beginning of Feb. So for us, by this point, obviously, a lot of people had seen it. A lot of people had jumped on the bandwagon. So was she just doing that sort of thing because it was going to bring in followers?
Yeah, maybe. And like I said, it's very easy to like do that and then accidentally spread misinformation.
Yeah.
And then that's where conspiracies come from.
And this is it. And there's so many backwards and forwards. You know, with people like, don't massively understand TikTok, but you know, it's like duets where like you can do. So they were doing clips of her videos, and then it was other historians like getting back and going, well, she's wrong for saying this, and then there was obviously all the other mix of people just saying, well, she took it from here, and I don't know, it's not a fight, but
it kind of is.
Yeah, it's a massive spread, but then people get lost in between, and I think unless you've gone down that sort of rabbit hole, you just maybe might see that one video that just happened,
and
to
then you're
the
just
girls,
like, yeah, that's
and you're
how.
like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Because like I said, when we did obviously our megalith thing, it was based off the documentary, and like I said, there was so much of it that like it seems plausible. But like I said, you've literally got what they've given you in that documentary.
Yeah, that's a good thing about the internet, and the bad thing is like we have access to all this information, but you have to really look for what's the genuine factual information rather than just someone's theory or
their
opinion.
An idea of it, or like even how they've interpreted it. Because we all interpret things like slightly differently, and I think we notice it more when we're doing cases, because I see a lot of things and I think, oh, that sounds interesting, and I've gone to start and do a bit of research on it, and I'm like, yeah, that was nothing like how it was described in that video, and then I'm like, I kind of lost interest in that now, or like it's not really what I thought it was going to be, so I'm not going to cover it anymore. But yeah, there's a lot of conspiracy theories.
Yeah, because like my sister, I would say she's intelligent, but since like having TikTok, she's not becoming dumb, but she's like believing these silly conspiracies, and it's very scary because, like, you know, that train crash in Ohio.
Oh yeah.
And then all this other stuff going on in Ohio, and then it's weird, and then like people go in to investigate the train crash, died in a plane crash, and then like what's going on. And it's very easy to get sucked into that, and it's very easy to be like, well, yeah, that kind of is a bit suspicious. Well, I will admit, them dying on the way to investigate that is suspicious, but I'm not saying it's related.
Yeah, it's if at the worst, it's a very nasty coincidence.
Yeah. So like, it is, some bits of it are believable, but then it goes to like, oh, there's going to be like 15-minute cities, And it's like, no.
It's how you...
Yeah.
It's how it's presented to you. And then if someone backs it up with like, and then there was this case so many years ago.
Yeah.
And then people are like, okay, well, there's facts to that thing. So it's like adding facts from one thing and adding it into then a theory.
Yes.
And it awkwardly gets blended in together and gives the wrong interpretation. Because it's like the other one, the massive one at the moment, and you've just jogged my memory of it, that I keep popping up on mine, and it infuriates me because I'm like, no, it's not a thing. You know the Grammys and the whole satanic thing. And I'm just like, it's so clearly not, like, that was just the performance, but everyone's like, this is their sign, they've been coming out, they're doing it right in front of us, they're taking the mickey out of us, and I'm just like, no, I'm not seeing it.
Because I've been listening to a podcast that's like about the Illuminati, but the real one, what it's actually from, and then that's how it's like been twisted into what people know as the Illuminati now, where it's like they control everything. No, they do not. It's made up. It was actually a made up thing back in the day that they wanted to be like, I want a secret society. Why have I got a lisp?
I don't know.
Secret society. And then they're just like, and then do you know how they got found out? Because the person who had all the documentation got struck by lightning.
Oh, unfortunate.
And he died. So that's how like their secret. So this is that. So that it leads to all these conspiracy theories of the Illuminati now.
It's like when it all pops up, like when we had the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing, that was all linked with like child exploitation and like, I don't know, the celebrities that had what was it, like a pizza slice or something?
Yeah.
On one, I think like the whole thing, and I was just like, you're taking it so
like
far-fetched.
I will agree, him dying or being murdered or whatever is very suspicious. Do I think he was murdered? Maybe.
Yeah, I think that thing, but I don't think it was linked with the whole Illuminati thing and the satanic.
No.
Thing.
Oh no. It's always going to be down to like satanic stuff, and it's not. And it's just.
I think more than likely someone bumped him off within the ring, either to keep him quiet, to protect whatever criminal activity they're doing, or someone that genuinely was like, you've exploited women and children, so I'm just going to murder you because you're a piece of shit. I think that's what happened with him. That's what happened there.
But it's scary because then it's like the QAnon stuff that led to the January 6th thing on the in America.
Yeah.
That was all from a conspiracy. And that's look how scary that can be. Just because someone posts like, oh, or the like Hillary Clinton, and that linked to a pizza shop as well.
Yeah, she was another one. What of it? There was some.
Pedophiles,
I swear there was one about there was also one, I swear it had like Robbie Williams or something in it, and like he did something somewhere.
Yeah, because my sister was like, oh yeah, Tom Hanks went to Jeffrey Epstein's island, and I'm like, no, not Tom Hanks. He's a good one.
But the thing is, like, not all of those people that would have come into contact with would have been criminal people. They would have, because he was a big person at the time, like he was walking around celebrity circles. There would have been innocent people in that would have been gone to Ireland for a party, not necessarily for him or any of the criminal things he was doing.
Yeah, because people who are fans of Trump are like, oh, see, he hung out with the Clintons, but yes, he also hung out with Trump. So it's like, if your theory is correct for the Clintons, it should
like they're making it fit their narrative, like
exactly,
picking and choosing.
And that's what conspiracy theories are. It's picking what you think is correct, and then it's just like mending or molding all the facts to fit that.
But yeah, it's just
and then ignoring what's the truth.
Yeah, what's actually there. Like, I understand a lot of things. Like, these theories have got to come about because we obviously don't know everything.
No,
and until
we don't.
someone explores them, like, we're not going to find the answer. And that's, for us to have got as far as we have, it's had to start off as someone's theory.
Yeah, and the answer's probably not always going to be satisfactory. You're always going to be like, oh, is that it?
Yeah.
It's got to be more than that. And it's like, no, it's not.
Or it won't necessarily explain everything.
Yeah.
It will maybe explain 80% of it. And like I said, I don't know, social media just so massively took off. Like, it's interesting, you know, like, it gets you thinking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think some of them are massively off on it. And then there's the ones that have gone to the other extreme, where it's just so clearly stupid people. And I can't make out whether they are genuinely that stupid or if they're playing stupid. Because there was one, as I was searching for stuff like, to do with the megaliths, there's this other woman, and obviously then it goes on to the whole alien conspiracy theory, and I think I'm not into that.
I told you,
anyway.
it always goes back to the aliens.
Yeah, well, there was one woman, and she was like, and she just started off like, I'm not into conspiracy theories or anything. Like, she was in America, and I thought, right, okay, where is this going? And she was just going, but the other day, you couldn't phone anyone. The phone lines went dead. And my internet wasn't working properly. She was like, that's just weird though. She was like, it wasn't just in my house. It was all across the street in this whole neighbourhood. And I'm thinking, a phone line probably fucking came down. It's not fucking aliens. And she was just like, but it went out for hours, like, there's something wrong, there's something happening. And I thought...
That happens.
Yes, a phone line or a pylon went down somewhere, there was a shortage somewhere, that's what happened, it's not fucking aliens. But it was just the way she was like, I'm not into conspiracy theories, but she was like, but something weird's happening here, and it happened in another area a few weeks ago. And I'm thinking... And she was like, something's coming for us. And I thought, no, there's just a problem. It's not any conspiracy theory. It's not them trying to tap into us. It's not them hacking our phone lines.
Because like there's another one my sister sent me. It's like Bill Gates is testing like another model of COVID and like seeing how like that's going to play out, and then that's going to be released in 2025. Yes, he is testing how things happen, because that's how we need to know to prepare for stuff like COVID.
When COVID happened and there was that whole conspiracy, everyone was like, I'm not getting the vaccine because they've managed to produce it in a couple of months. And I'm thinking, yes,
that's another thing.
Because everyone was working on it because it was a global problem. But secondly, these things had to come on. They already had bits towards COVID because it's a type of flu and cold. So we already had part of the vaccination. We just needed to sort of genetically alter it slightly.
But
so
guess what? It came from a lab. It's like,
but so does all of the fucking...
They tested it. It did not come from a lab.
But everything ultimately, where the testing goes from, in order to make vaccines, it will come through a lab at some point. It doesn't mean...
And then there was another thing that she sent me that, like, people who had the vaccination but only had one are dying, but the one who have two aren't dying. And it's like... Or there was a thing, and I was just like, it doesn't make sense the way it's coming out.
Yeah. It's just people.
So if you only have one, you're still dying. So if you have two, you're safer. If the vaccine is killing you, surely you'd be dying from two of them rather than one of them. Yeah,
got more of it in you.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I saw that. And then someone was like, one was to kill you and the other one was like an antidote, like an anti-venom sort of thing.
No.
But I was thinking, but then what about the people that then had 3 and 4? Does it? And then what about the ones where they swapped? Because, you know, if you had like
the Pfizer or
then you swapped to an AstraZeneca. Like, what? Do they start again?
I had the one that is supposed to give you blood clots. I'm still here.
Yeah, okay.
Might explain my flaccid brain, though.
Might explain your flaccid brain.
Because I can't speak anymore. What the hell?
But I just don't get it.
I do like conspiracies and I like to pick them apart, but I'm also like the older conspiracies, like JFK might not have been shot by Lee Harvey Oswald.
It's
that type
things
of thing. Yeah.
I kind of like, because there's aspects of it, I don't know, there's so much facts around it, like it's easier to either pick it apart or easy if you go, okay, there might be a paper trail to this, so there's a possibility of proving it.
Yeah.
It's the ones that you just so clearly are never going to prove. Yeah, and they're just so stupid. And like I said, just some of them, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, are you actually being serious? And I genuinely can't make out if people are doing it on purpose to get followers because it is so fucking ridiculous, or if they genuinely believe it.
Yeah, that is another thing. It's like, are they doing it because conspiracies and true crime is like now the in thing?
Yeah.
So are they like just jumping on the bandwagon, which is another scary thing, because then again, you're spreading misinformation.
Yeah, because people, it depends on how convincing you are at doing it. And I think that's the big problem, because if you sound convincing, there's going to be a large number of people that follow it, which is where I think this whole Illuminati thing has come from, because someone just explained it really well.
I like to make fun of it because, like, oh, it's the Illuminati. It's just like,
I just like picking them apart and just shredding them. Like I said, the Grammys one's what got me the other week, when they were just like, yes, they're wafting it in our faces, they're doing it right in front of us, but they're brainwashing us. And I was like,
I'm sorry, but if, like, one group of people can control the world, maybe do it better.
Yeah, and also, why have they not done it by now? Like, why is it taking so long if they were that good?
Yeah.
And also, how has no one done it before now?
Fix the planet. Yeah. If one group of people are controlling the planet, make us
what are they
turn
to
green
us to do?
energy.
I don't really get it. They're saying they're taking us over, but taking us over to do what? Like, what have we all started doing?
I also don't know.
If we all started walking the same way and saying exactly the same words.
Yeah. Because like that 15-minute city thing that my sister was doing, it's like, so everything is within 15 minutes within you. And I'm like, but then that's like saving on cars so you don't pollute the area. So I was just like, that's kind of logical to me. But then it's like, there's going to be no rural things. And it's like, we need places to grow food. There will be rural areas. And it's just, you can see the logic where they get it from. Yeah. And it's like, then they stop. Yeah. And it's like, no, keep continuing. You need to keep going. And then you get to the final... the real thing, and it's just like, no, just 15 minutes it is. I just because like it's going on right now, and it's like, okay, why is it not on the news? Because the news, she doesn't want the you can't know because the news doesn't want you to know. It's like,
but they need TikTok, yeah.
But it's on TikTok. TikTok is Chinese. They can control their media presence, so why aren't they doing it here? And it's
like, yeah,
it's so infuriating that it's like, I understand the way it lures people in, but then it's just like, you need to think a little bit deeper.
Yeah,
don't just
got to actually look at
think
it.
on the surface like, oh shit, that's gonna happen.
It's just weird how much TikTok, because to be fair, I was really late to TikTok.
I still, some of those things are too long for me. I'm just like, get to the point.
I missed the whole thing, you know, when it first came out, and it was like people apparently doing dances.
I missed that.
I wasn't on there then.
Someone who got like 2 million likes and now they're famous. It's like, I don't know who you are.
Yeah, and everyone's like, oh, they made their name on TikTok, and I was like, yeah, I've never even seen a video with you, and so I don't know who you
like
are.
that person who was just like miming and doing a face and like the cameras. I don't understand. Yeah, she's cute, but I don't understand.
I think it's designed as a kids thing, isn't it? Which is where I think the whole dance thing took off. And then COVID happened, and everyone was stuck in the house. And I still didn't have TikTok during COVID. I did the back end of COVID, and it was only because so many people were sending me links to things like, "Did you see this?" And I just didn't have TikTok, so I was like, "Well, this is peeing me off now."
Yeah.
And it was before Instagram Reels was a big thing.
Yeah.
Because it's like now that Instagram has got that, it's almost like TikTok's a bit not pointless, but like whatever was on TikTok, you see it 3 weeks later all on Instagram because it just posts later.
Yeah. I only have it because I was gonna like do things of like me making jewelry, and it's just like I've still not got around to it because I don't like to film myself. So it's just like, that's the only reason I have it.
And I from my personal account, like I've never posted a
video.
I've never
posted.
I just do it to like look through stuff.
Yeah, I use it to look through stuff, and then we share the Graveyard Girls one, so we look through that one together. We post stuff together from that one. But yeah, I just look at it because people either send me stuff or it was for personal use, but I'm not there yet.
But like I said, and I only really then got more into my TikTok once we started our Graveyard Girls one. Because obviously for us, we obviously wanted to reach more people. But yeah, I don't know, it just seems to have gone so mental. Yeah, it is a great way to like, I was gonna say meet people. It's a great way to like find people, and then people can share stuff, and because like we've got lots of followers on there, and it's nice to share things, but it is you need to be careful as well, you know, like not the really stupid 5-minute craft things where you're like, it's not even a hack because what you've just done is just 10 times harder. But you know the ones where like people like about other like little crafty things and like, oh, this is how I've put this together, and then they're showing the work, and I was like, oh, that's a really good idea. Like I always wondered how they did that. Things like that, brilliant. It's really informative, and you've actually learnt something from it. And don't get me wrong, there is some of the ones, you know, when people talk about their day-to-day life and it's like random craft, you think, no, actually that did amuse me. It's like cheered me up on a shitty day. Yeah. But yeah, the whole conspiracy theory thing. Like, I enjoy conspiracies. I'm all for them, but I think I look at them like they're not real. I think I always go in with like a layer of skepticism. Like I think I'm quite a skeptical person anyway. Yeah. I'm just like, oh, I'm curious. Yeah. But there's like a little bit behind me where it's like, it's not real. I think part of me is like immediately like, I need to pick it apart. And I need to hear what it is, and then if it doesn't sound plausible to begin with, I'm like, no. Yeah, you're not interested in it. But yeah, no, I definitely think it's when all these conspiracies, like, well, I've got to Google it now because I want to like prove why you're wrong. And it's like I never respond to any of these, and I don't even write comments on TikTok. But you know, when you're looking at it, it's like I have to just do it for myself. I'm like, yeah, what they've just said is a load of bullshit. And yeah, it's just very bizarre, all of the things that are on there. But no, I just don't get it. I think, yeah, like I said, it's a great tool, but it's also, it could be easily used as a weapon. And if we look at January 6th, that was a version of a weapon. Yeah. I think they kind of tried to do that in Brazil. It's very easy to like get a crowd together that way. Yeah, it's obviously just it's a modern day thing, but it's also weirdly a bit of like a protest. But like rather than you going out on the streets and protesting stuff, it's all done online, and it's so much easier to do stuff online behind a computer screen or like a phone screen. Yeah. Than like actually because you've not got to face anyone in theory, and you can hide away. And then if it all can goes be anonymous, shit, but if it all goes shit, you can just delete your account and like that's it. Like yes, other people might have like saved and shared your video, but you've not got to deal with it anymore. You can just delete it. Whereas if you're physically going out somewhere and like make it a big thing, like everyone, I don't know, knows your face if you like, so it's a bit harder for you to hide. Unless it depends what you post, and like you might be tracked if you're posting some certain things. But yeah, it's very easy to just be like, say one thing, have you spread it, and then it never gets
linked back to you.
Yeah. But yeah, no, very strange. So I don't know what everyone else's views on the whole conspiracy theory thing is. Maybe you have some conspiracy theories that you think we should probably look at because they're shit and you want us to prove why it's shit.
Like I said, I genuinely enjoy conspiracies, but then it's just like, oh, for fuck's sake, because like the Ohio train crash, it's just because they haven't put money into their infrastructure.
Yeah.
That's why there's so many trains crashing. But then it's just like, happening everywhere. Yes, because America has not put any money into the infrastructure for years, and now this is what happens. This is the consequences when you don't put money into things that need money.
Yeah,
but it's happening all the time. So this woman found a train out in California, and it's like, why is it here? But it's probably just there because they couldn't store it anywhere else. And it's just like
there. Yeah, plus there's the whole disused railway things. I don't know if it's the same in America, but obviously here we cut off a lot of our railways after the Industrial Revolution because we moved to lorries and all air transport.
Well, I think the way what they're transporting is like very like the toxic, the thing, the one in Ohio, they like set it on fire to like get rid of it, but it turns out it killed lots of animals in that area, but they cleared out the humans. So it's like they didn't kill people on purpose. They did what they thought was best at the time. Yes, it's not the right thing, but it was
just the reaction it had. It obviously didn't quite go the way they were planning on going.
But
the wind blew the wrong way.
But that's what happens when you're transporting toxic stuff like that. What's the fallout of, like, how do you clean it up?
Yeah,
you have to do something.
Depending on what the product is, there's only certain ways you can get rid of it.
Yeah.
But
it's just because I think they were all trying to be like, oh, the trains are going to like blow up and like kill us all. Have they though?
No. In the grand scheme of things, and no, I'm not being funny, but if people really wanted to start doing that, they would have started doing it a long time before now.
And like I always say to my sister, there's more of us than there are the people in government. So if the government tried to force all these people to conform to a certain thing, we can uprise and not do it. It's like...
But also, I don't see what is the point in controlling us all. Like, what are they going to get us to do once they control us all?
I don't know. And then when do lizard people come...
And what's going to be so terrible? Because the reality is, okay, let's play like devil's advocate here. Let's say they do have to control us all, right? They're still going to need things like food. So what they're going to control us all to go and plant seeds and grow vegetables. Is that really the worst thing that could fucking happen to you? No.
And also, if we go back to our witch trial season, the peasants uprised and never provided the wood for their stakes.
Yeah, so they couldn't burn any more witches because they didn't have any wood. So, like I said, but what are they going to get us to do? I don't see what they're going to be able to get us to do that's going to be so horrendous.
But then also they're trialling like 4-day weeks. Yeah. It's like, if it's so bad, why would get in 4-day weeks?
Yeah. It's because it makes us more productive.
It does make us more productive because on the 5th day you don't do anything.
Yeah, and it's an extra day of rest.
And it's
an extra day to mentally wind down from the shit at work.
Yeah, it's a better work-life balance.
Yeah.
How is that so bad?
But then if they're controlling us, it won't be a problem anymore because we won't really have any feelings. Therefore, we won't be tired and stuff. So, everyone's making it out like it's a really terrible thing, but let's say it did happen. Is it really going to be the worst thing that happened? I mean, like, you've not got to make any decisions anymore. You're not going to be one of those indecisive people.
But that's not how it's going to happen.
No, because you're all going to. And it's not even going to happen.
Yeah.
But when they feel like they're trying to clone us to get us all to do the same thing, like we're going to be stuck in their mindset.
No offense, but we are pretty stuck.
Yeah.
In the life we've already got.
Even if we're stuck in their mindset, like, I don't see it as, not that it's not a bad thing, but like, I won't have to think of anything anymore. I won't be like, oh shit, I forgot to do this, or am I offending someone with this? It's just like, I won't get a choice in it because it's already done and we're all doing the same thing, so...
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I don't understand.
Half the problems we've created just won't exist anymore.
Yeah, I don't understand, like, what the conspiracy is there. It's like, what's the end goal? To control us all? Like, we're all kind of being controlled anyway.
We are, in a way, because we all go to work. Yeah. Like, we created a society.
Pay taxes. Yeah.
Because, like, thousands of years ago, you just, like, grew your own food. Well, you chased your own animal off the edge of the cliff.
Oh, but now they're like,
home.
Yeah, now they're like, oh, they're putting the COVID vaccine into lettuce. I'm like, no, they're not. It's just...
But I don't get it.
And when, like, where do lizard people come into this? Like, they control are they the Illuminati that control the world?
I don't know. Are they linked with aliens? I don't really get it. I'll be honest. I just don't get what we're supposed to be doing, because like even if they got us to like make toxic things, like then we're just going to kill ourselves. So surely that defeats the object of taking control of us anyway. So
hey, if anyone's going to kill us, it's the Earth, because like we're destroying the Earth first.
Exactly. So
it's going to take care of itself.
Yeah, and by creating half these other things, we've created loads of new diseases anyway. By half the toxic stuff that we put in all modern day things. So yeah, I don't really see how the government taking control of our brains or putting microchips and stuff. What was it? Someone about? Or did you hear the one the other year where people were like, you can get a microchip under your skin. Like it's a thing already. Like,
in like Sweden, you get access to your own work company.
Yeah,
so,
and everyone's like, they're doing that so they can control you. And
it's
I'm
just
like,
it's just so you don't have to have a key.
What are you going to do? Like, you're going to go in one room and then be like, oh no, denied access. And then they're going to like get a giant magnet and get you walking in the opposite direction. It's
like, if you can like easily just scan your hand and then you've already paid for something.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
You're not got to remember your keys or your wallet.
No.
Or any of those things. To me, that just sounds far easier.
Yeah. It's like, and women, like, we have to carry a lot of stuff anyway. If I don't have to like get my money out the purse,
and it's all done.
Yeah.
There you go. I'm like all down for the whole stick a microchip in my arm. I don't really give a shit.
Especially when I go like food shopping, I don't tend, if it's like for a few things, I don't tend to get a basket or a trolley.
Yeah.
I kind of like hold everything. Yeah. And then I'm like, oh, should have got a basket. But then I'm like, if I can just pay by waving my hand.
Yeah.
What's the problem?
Put one in your face, like waft your nose or something.
Just like dunk your head on the scanner. See, what's the problem with that?
It's easier. I just don't get why people are coming out with all these.
It's just the fear of like change and a fear of like the future. Even though like the future's not going to be anything like what anyone. It's just going to be the same.
Yeah, you just think. Well, you think how massively it's changed, like advanced, even in the last 100 years. Like now that we've got these technologies, things is going to progress far quicker.
Yeah.
And I think we've just got to accept that things are going to change, because effectively they've always changed. Like I wonder if like back, like I don't know, well I suppose like hundreds of years ago there would have been conspiracy theories, just not on the level that they are now.
Well, yeah, go back to the 80s. You got satanic panic, which is kind of what's happening now.
Yeah, making a not a rebound. Like.
To be fair, because everyone's dressing like the 80s, especially some boys. Like, stop having mullets and stop wearing your dad's 80s clothes. It doesn't look good. Get a different fashion sense.
Yeah, create a new one. Like, why are we just recycling everything now?
Recycling is good.
Recycling is good, but could we not create...
But I think they're, like, buying stuff so it looks old. I don't think they're recycling. I don't think they're shopping it.
Yeah, but you know, like, you look through the times, like, how medieval peasants dressed in comparison to, like, then Elizabethan times. Like, it was a gradual progression. Now we're just, like, regressing.
Yeah, it's like, oh, do you like Reeboks and baggy jeans and
those
all the
weird
stuff you colourful
got
jackets?
For as a child,
yes.
You can wear that now.
Mullet? I hate mullets.
I just don't get it.
Every time I go rugby, I see these people with mullets, and I'm just like, I can't tell how old you are, because you're like 8, but then like 58. I don't understand. They're probably like 16.
I'd like to hope you could tell the difference between an 8-year-old and a 58-year-old.
Yeah, it's probably more like 16, and I can't tell if they're like 28 or something. Yeah, it's weird, especially when they got the fake glasses that they don't need.
Yeah, see that when that became a thing, I've never understood that. What's the point of that?
I don't know.
Was that supposed to be like for the women that like wanted to look nerdy because it was supposed to be sexy or something? But they don't actually need the glasses, so they've got to do it without the glass in it.
I was tempted by some glasses, but I never got any.
I think I'd look stupid.
Oh yeah, I want to see what I look like with glasses.
Yeah, I don't think they're really for me.
Like have proper like frog eyes.
Yeah. But no, I just think I'd look silly. I know you can get loads of different frames now. But I don't really think it's a thing for me. Like, and to be fair, I should probably be a bit worried about it, because both my mum, my dad and my sister all have to wear glasses. I'm the only one in the family that doesn't wear glasses. So either, like, I don't know, I'm just, like, superior. Or...
Yes.
I'll go with that.
Big titty superior.
Yeah, big titty superior. That I don't need glasses. But I'm thinking, if it comes to a day where I do end up needing glasses, am I just going to look, like, stupid all the time?
Sometimes they suit people. You got to get the right
I don't think I'm one of those people, though.
Shape.
Because, like, I know... It's only one pair of glasses, but I tried Clara's on for a pee take and I looked absolutely fucking ridiculous.
I like certain shapes on people, and then sometimes they get completely different shape. It's like, No, I know what was better.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. It's like, as well, like, I can't even really, like, sunglasses I look really stupid in. Whereas, like, you look cool. Like, when you picked me up early and I'm like, oh, Natasha's going, I can see her in her cool shades.
Because I couldn't see when I was coming around the corner. I just put my sunglasses on. I don't know, I just like...
But yeah, some people, like, they've just got the face for it, like, they can pull it off. Or, like, that's the other thing, annoying thing, when people can pull off whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
especially, like, if it on other people it look really ugly, but then on them it works.
Yeah, and you're like, I'd love to be able to pull off that style, but I know for a while it just wouldn't work.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, yeah.
So sometimes I try to be adventurous, and then sometimes I'm just like,
it's
comfort.
A lot of effort, though, to be honest. I really can't be arsed.
Yeah.
It's like when everyone goes to me, like, oh, you're not, like, going to, like, dye your hair or go for a different hairstyle. And I was like, yeah, but then you've got to upkeep it. Like, I see my sister and the stress in the morning, Jesus Christ. You know, if a bit of hair's out of place, like, because I've even, like, when I was a kid, you know when you used to get really sweaty fringe? And obviously a horse riding.
That's why I was worried about
having
fringe, yes.
And it's just like, now, like, oh, it sticks up a little bit. And then, or like my sister, like, you've got to straighten it. Or like, if you dye it, then when your roots start coming through, you've got to decide, are you going for the same colour again? Or are you going something completely different?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any of those problems. My hair is all one length. I can either have it down or stick it in a ponytail or plait it. It's quite simple. I can do my hair in 30 fucking seconds. It's really not a problem.
It doesn't take me long to do my hair. But then again, obviously I dye it. And then sometimes certain dyes don't last, especially if I constantly dye my hair.
Yeah.
It doesn't always last, but then it's like you need to dye it so it lasts. So it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah. That's it. Once you've started it, you're kind of stuck in that cycle, unless whatever you happen to have dyed your hair to is not that dissimilar from your original colour. But yeah, I just think, I just don't, I'd rather have the extra half an hour to an hour in bed.
That's another thing as well. I think like fashion trends and like conspiracy is a trend.
Yeah.
It seems like there's been an influx of conspiracy theories lately, and I think it's because everyone can just have an opinion on it, so then it's a trend.
We've provided the platform for it effectively, haven't we, with social media and the way that we do it. But yeah, I think we went off on a bit of a tangent.
Yeah, a little bit. That's why I was bringing it back to conspiracy.
But yeah, so if anyone has any conspiracies that really pees them off and they'd like us to explain why it's so massively wrong, maybe like send it to us. I don't know, maybe we could discuss it in a future one. Seeing as this was a bit of an experiment episode, completely unscripted, so it might sound like we've waffled a lot when we come back to, well, when you listen back to it later to edit it. So be interesting to see how that works. But I think we've decided we'll go down we'll call these types of ones the big tit, little tit. So we'll probably, like when we did the witch trials, we'll have it as like a little subcategory. So it still come out on all the same platforms and the same podcast. What's the word? Podcast platforms. So
I think you literally just said it.
Yeah. So it'll still be on all the same ones and under the same thing. But this, I think maybe where we were doing our joint cases, every now and then we'll just have a bit of a discussion. Yeah, completely unscripted rather than our usual scripted episodes. So if maybe you have a topic you want us to cover in those, you can let us know. Email us, messages on Instagram, just emails graveyardgirlspod@gmail.com. I think that's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're not done that for a bit. I'll just add that bit at the end.
Oh, okay. That'd be easier.
I still have it. Yes.
That's all right then. Thanks, Natasha. On that note, in the meantime,
keep creeping.
And we'll keep digging.
Thank you for listening to today's episode.
Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it. And if you did, then maybe you'd like to either contact us about our episode. You can find us on Instagram under the Graveyard Girls podcast. We think, at least write pod in, and then it's
one of them. It's definitely the Graveyard Girls pod on TikTok.
Yes. But yeah, if you head over to that, then obviously we make posts related to each episode, so if you want to drop something in the comments there, or you could send us a direct message if you wanted to. You can also email us through our Instagram, but if you want to go old school and open up your actual emails, you can email us on
the Graveyard Girls pod at gmail.com.
Alternatively, if that's not the way you want to go, you can find us on our website, which is also linked on our Instagram,
which is thegraveyardgirls.co.uk, because we couldn't afford .com.
Yes. On there you can send us messages through that, either direct messages. I think you can email us through that as well.
You can. You can subscribe on there so you could get updates if we
do them.
But most of the updates come from Instagram, so just check that out. But also on the website, we have our own shop where you can get merch. More stuff is coming
very soon.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think you can listen to that. And then have we linked in our Patreon on there as well?
Yes, Patreon. There's a link on there for Patreon. Or alternatively, you can go to Patreon directly and look for the Graveyard Girls podcast. And you could subscribe where you can, there's a couple of different tiers at the minute.
Yeah, they all vary. The very first one doesn't unlock anything. That's purely support for the show. But any tiers after that, any of the higher ones, I think the next one up is like £3.
Yeah.
That starts unlocking bonus episodes. And as we go along, we'll add extra little goodies in, like T-shirts. And then we're going to add more as we go along. We just got to organise our tiers a bit better now that we're adding new content. So we want to make some more a bit relevant to that and sort of expand on what we've already got.
Mm-hmm.
So, hopefully you want to come and join us over there. There's a lot more episodes over there. The bonus episodes include things like I suppose, like little mini history episodes.
Mini history,
some more. There is some more true crime on there.
True crime.
And mysteries.
The rest of the witch trial season.
Yeah, is on there. And
is anything that like we feel is interesting.
Is interesting.
It is interesting. That wouldn't fit in the normal podcast.
The mainstream one.
Yeah.
So a lot of our main episodes as well, they're linking quite nicely. We've got little sub-series up on Patreon. So if you liked the main episodes, you can go and have a little look at those. Because like for this is a serial killer one. Oh no. Forget that.
We're tired. We do have another podcast if you could be so kind to check out.
Yes, very different from this. It's called Hidden in the Hollows.
It's scripted.
Yeah, and it's
it's acted.
It's terrible acting.
Loosely by us. But it's something, it was a thing we wanted to test out.
Yeah. So yeah, if you search for that, it is done by us, but it's not under the Graveyard Girl. So if you search for Hidden in the Hollows.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's all of our little extra bits.
I think so.
So yeah, hopefully you join us again for another episode.
Yes, join us every week, every Wednesday.
And Patreon on Thursday.
Yes. And Hidden in the Hollows
on a Friday. We're so good at this. How are we ending it?
Just like that.
Okay. Thanks.
Bye-bye.